This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. One very alarming byproduct of Donald Trump coming on the political scene is the normalization of violence and threats of violence. Last week, over the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was in Boise, Idaho. And prior in that week, I did a video about Charlie Kirk's little critical race theory tour that he's doing to lie about what critical race theory is. It seems to be the topic du jour. And a questioner in the audience asked him, when do we get to use the guns? When do we get to kill these people, meaning Democrats, who are stealing elections? None of it's happening. Not happening. Neither is critical race theory being taught in elementary schools, and also elections aren't being stolen. All of it's lies. Fabricated from the ground up, starting with Donald Trump, and then all of the minions follow suit. Going back to the original point, as I tangent myself, violence and the threat of violence. Obviously, from the very beginning, the onset of Donald Trump's campaign, he offered to pay the legal bills of people who punched out supporters or protesters, at his campaign rallies. He said himself, I'd like to punch him in the face. He is a dreg who dragged us down politically, socially, societally. And the minions have followed suit. Again, the minions have followed suit. The lemmings have jumped off the proverbial cliff with Donald Trump. There is a group to call them conservatives doesn't even do it justice. Conspiracy theory, violent promoting members of Congress. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Louis Gohmert, Paul Gosar, Mo Brooks, Andy Biggs. There's a whole bunch of them. And after January 6th, metal detectors were installed on the floor of the House because of the threat of violence. A rational choice in the short term. Maybe it'll be a long-term thing. I don't know. But Matt Gaetz on Halloween was stumping for a conservative Republican state legislator in Florida and made a joke about bombing the United States Capitol. Made a joke about using explosives in the Capitol right off of the floor of the United States House of Representatives. Not a funny joke. Not a joke. Something that should be taken very seriously. Something the FBI should be looking into. And he and Lauren Boebert cracking wise about it. Watch this video, and I'll read you a couple tweets.
My friend Lauren Boebert from Colorado, they put in metal detectors on the floor of the House because it's like a 5'0" woman. She carries a firearm for her personal protection. So, they got triggered by that. I said, man, is it Tananite or C4 we want to put in those metal detectors and we blow them up and we take them to charity?
Yeah. And the crowd claps and applauds and woos that a sitting member of Congress is cracking wise about bombing the United States Capitol only months after it was attacked by his own supporters. A violent insurrection, attempted overthrow of the United States government. Thank God, a failed coup, a failed overturning of a free and fair American election. First of all, the metal detectors were not placed there because she's a 5'0" woman and she carries a firearm for her personal protection. Because she's a 5'0" woman, she carries a firearm for her personal protection. So what is it with the goofballs at the Subway sandwich shop with their sidearm? Is it because they're 5'0" women who need protection? And then, of course, the refrain of the being triggered. People are triggered. As he talks about blowing up the United... Because listen, you can't destroy with explosives and a detonation, a metal detector that sits just feet off the House chamber without doing damage to the Capitol itself. He is, in effect, talking about blowing up the United States Capitol. A terrorist attack. If he was not a member of Congress, if he was a Muslim, you know, the yesterday's topic du jour, scary, and they were talking about blowing up something in the Capitol using tanninite or C4, there would be a full-blown federal response. But that was when Muslims were the boogeyman in America more than they are today. Unjustifiably. Let me read these tweets. Matt Gaetz says, if you can't fantasize, it's a fantasy of his. If you can't fantasize about blowing up useless metal detectors with Lauren Boebert at a Florida Halloween political rally for Anthony Sabatini, when can you? Oh, so funny, Matt Gaetz. When you're not being a predator against young children, you're plotting terrorist attacks of the United States Capitol. And Lauren Boebert replied, I'll bring the tannerite, which is a material embedded in targets, the way I understand it, to have them explode upon detonation, upon impact with a high-velocity round. But he's not just talking about tannerite, he's talking about C4, military-grade explosive. Republican Party, everybody. This is it. This is what you got. If you're out there, I know Republicans watch. If you're out there, isn't it time to reflect, to second guess what it is you're involved in? What organization this Republican Party has become? It is no longer a party, and I don't really believe it ever was, a party of fiscal responsibility and small, limited government, of supply-side economics. It is no longer that. This is a party of chaos and mayhem and threats of violence. Madison Cawthorn, on an almost weekly basis, is using the word bloodshed in response to, we're going to have to take back our country. This is the party of chaos and terrorism. As we witnessed, as we all witnessed, as the world witnessed on January 6th, which may have just been a dry run, a practice run, to see what they could get right and to learn from what they got wrong. And even with Matt Gaetz under federal investigation for serious crimes against children, he has the temerity and the gall to go out there and threaten terrorism against the United States Capitol building, the building in which he works. And Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these others. I'd love to know what you think. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Where do we go from here? What are the next steps for us? Follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you there. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. And if, and only if, I bring you value, listen, I say this often, but if there's somebody out there who brings you more value, who you get more from, support that person on the platform. There's a lot of people in my genre, in my space on YouTube, and I'm sure they would appreciate your support. But if I am your flavor, I would very much appreciate if you would consider supporting me. You can click the join button below the video here. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can help support and produce what I do, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt-podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you getting back in the swing of things after my little trip to Boise. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.